Welcome everyone to today's webinar. I'm glad you all can join and I hope you find today's topic and information helpful. My name is Greg Schmidt. I'll be the presenter for today's webinar, and today's topic is how to start using your IBMI data in Microsoft Excel and the 3 ways to get access to your live business data by using SQL Business Intelligence. Business users have become very familiar and comfortable, and some would even say very dependent over the years on using Microsoft Excel to view, manipulate, and even put data into visual graphs and charts for the business. But there's a problem here for the IBMI traditional data access tools such as Query 400 or even the Excel add-in for IBMI Access. They really don't play nicely with Excel and can create headaches for either business users and or IT. Did you know that there's an easier way and even a more reliable way to import your IBMI data to Excel? It is called SQL BI. In today's webinar, I will demonstrate how you can simply process data directly into Microsoft Excel using a couple different methods, 3 different methods to be able to do that, from interactive methods to automation methods. Here's a quick look at the agenda again, what I'm going to cover. I'm going to start with an overview of the SQL BI solution and some of its features, and then I'm going to move into the main topic of how to start using your IBMI data in Microsoft Excel. And then I'm going to do a live demonstration of 3 different ways that you can use SQL BI to be able to transfer data to Microsoft Excel. And then I'm going to finish up with some Q&A at the end if time permits. Feel free to enter all your questions into the chat window, and I will address them towards the end of the webinar if time allows. Please select all presenters so all the questions are directed to me. And also, today's event is being recorded, and you'll receive a link to the webinar to share with anyone in your organization that could not attend today's session, or if you would like to rewatch a certain part of it. Again, my name is Greg Schmidt. I'm a senior solutions engineer here at Fortra with over 24 years of experience in the industry. My areas of expertise are, document and forms automation, accounts payable and receivable automation, intelligent document capture, robotic process automation technology, and business intelligence. I also have over about 2 decades worth of experience in the IBMI report and data distribution area as well. Over the years, I've been key in helping companies automate their um, uh, document and data processes, and in turn helping companies streamline their business processes with technology and strategic planning for digital transformation efforts that might be ongoing in their organization. The first thing I want to walk through and talk through around is SQL BI and how it allows you and your organization to easily access your business data. We have, easy to use interfaces in our platform for accessing your business data and helping you turn that data into visual insights, which will allow you to create actionable items. And one of the keys to our solution is you don't have to be a SQL whiz to be able to do this. We have interfaces to be able to help you at each of the levels. So if you're an expert level and really like the SQL language, or if you want to be more wizard driven, or if you're more of a graphical person, we have sort of that in between where you can use the files and fields option inside of our application to be able to interact with the data and some of the visual aspect of it, and then bounce back to the SQL query if you need to. So you have all those different methods. Now, for what SQL Business Intelligence can help you with, the sole purpose is to unlock the value of the data using analytics. So your organization can start to get more valuable information from the data that is structured and analyzable to give them actionable insights. SQL Business Intelligence enables your business in its strategic decision-making process and gives you the tools either for IT or business users to access the data easily when and how they need it. We empower IT and business users by first providing IT the tools to easily translate and deliver lots of data from different data sources into clear, actionable stories with an easy to use interface, and making users more self sufficient in accessing the data they need by removing the need to do time consuming coding and the building of complex data warehouses by IT. And by doing this before mentioned, will in turn enable business users to make quick, informed decisions and improve the overall performance and health of your organization by being able to look at real time data when and how they need it. All companies today need to be able to use that data that they're collecting and use it more efficiently. If that data lives native on the IBM on a DB2 database, or as many organizations today might have a mixture of business platforms that are key to moving the business forward. And being able to take all that data, no matter where it lives, and use it to do deeper business analytics and tell stories with that data. With Fortra SQL, with Fortra's SQL Business Intelligence solution, we are helping IT and business users in organizations access and deploy easy to use data interfaces for their complex data, which will help them in turn take your data and make it actionable and drive the business to the next level. Our true goal is to make this as simple as possible for IT and business users in all organizations to access data they need. It all starts with around the planning, gathering, organizing, and analyzing. With our SQL Business Intelligence solution, we can help you bring that business data together and easily create those data stories that the business is looking for to be able to help them make those decisions. SQL BI is built with DB2 in mind, but also can work with other data sources that live on your network as well. So technically, any Type 4 JDBC driver compliant database we can connect to. With SQL BI, we use a three-step methodology around collecting and discovering live data around your organization, understanding and designing around that data, so we can actually get real-time access to the different sets of data, and then also the share and deploy option as well. So using web browser interfaces for zero application footprint to deploy the central repository of this information, or be able to, what you'll see here today, is export that information directly to Excel. Here's just another way to look at the sort of this process here. SQL, helps simplify the complexity of your organization's data. If it is historical data or if it's live data. So a lot of organizations want to be able to access that live data, but we do have organizations that want to look at some historical information too, and be able to build, dashboards or other kinds of, informational screens to be able to pull that information back. SQL can help you create reusable, secure repositories of different kinds of SQL objects, over your business data. So the nice thing about that, we can secure it with with the IBM security by default, and then we can also put other layers of security around it as well, and then give access to that repository, through Excel, which we're talking about today. But there's other ways to be able to access that through a browser or through dashboards or pivot tables and stuff like that. So it's a very powerful application. But the whole goal to this process is to manage that central repository and a view over data, especially with prompts and stuff built into it, which you'll see some of that here today. Gives you the capability to be able to get more granular with that information and sort of slice and dice it a little bit. Now, moving into that main topic for today, how to start using your IBM data in Microsoft Excel, right? So inside of SQL, there are three ways. Technically, there's a couple other ways too, but there's three main ways, for users to be able to get data in Excel, right? There's interactive, there's delivery methods. So think of scheduling and automation kind of capabilities we can do. And then last of all, direct access through Excel. So we have a plugin inside of Microsoft Excel that gives you that capability to be able to get to that information quickly. The first way is, to get your data into Excel with SQL is the interactive download, right? So being able to, access that data from, one of our, say, I know I'll show this in the live demonstration here in just a minute, but access that data directly from a web browser, and then being able to push it down from the web browser, or through the application, to be able to push it down to Excel directly, and then pull that into our application. And then the next method is more around automation and scheduling. So there's some really cool ways to be able to, push data and stuff like that, and push the results somewhere if you want to. So you can actually schedule information to be delivered, through email and stuff like that, or through the job scheduler, or through our robot schedule. You can actually use some automation capabilities to schedule those jobs or views or whatever, objects you want to be able to schedule, to be able to push that information through there. Now, in the scenario that we run into a lot, there's a lot of times that there's, I'll call them, groups of data that need to be sent out at specific times, right? Weekend, month end. Sometimes it's good morning reports that need to be sent out with, data analytics for sales teams and sales managers. So we can actually set up scripts to be able to group those together, so you don't have to run those individual views all the time individually. So say that you had 20 different reports you have to run on a daily basis. You could set up a script that runs one script and is scheduled to, and then launches off all those different, activities in the background. And I'll show sort of an example of that here in a few minutes. So there's many different ways to be able to do that, from a scheduling standpoint, and different things like that, to be able to, move that information around throughout the organization when, when people are expecting it to be there. And then the last option we have here, and I'll show this at the end of the demonstration here today, is our Excel add-in itself, right? So inside of Excel, we can actually access IBM data through there, using our add-ins. So we have a viewpoint add-in that allows you to add views to that. And the nice thing about these views is, say that I, as a sales manager or as a business owner, a business unit owner, I want to be able to have a spreadsheet with my calculations into it, but I just want to fill my data into it every single day. So I can actually add those views to a spreadsheet, and then save that spreadsheet to my desktop, and then open that up, and in the morning just refresh the data elements in there as well. So you don't always, and log in and actually authenticate yourself, obviously inside that process, but have those data views accessible to me already inside of a saved spreadsheet that are accessing some of that live data. Go to lunch, come back, refresh it, see the information that's updated. So we give you a lot of different ways to be able to do that, and then, like I said, manage those views in the central repository still. So it's a nice way to be able to do that. All right, I'm going to get into the live demonstration here. I'm going to cover a couple of those different methods there, so you can sort of see that. And the first one I'm going to do is, being able to access a view, and then from accessing that view, be able to download that information using our Excel plugins and stuff like that, or Excel features to be able to do that. So inside of here, I got a few views here. I'm going to go into, first of all, I'm going to go into our web interface, right? So this is our viewpoint designer. A lot of people use this for design. It can be used for access as well. And you can push information to Excel and things inside of here too. So you can say, hey, I want to design in here. I want to, maybe save the results as a PC file or whatever, and push it down to Excel, email it as Excel inside of here. So there's different things that you can do here. And we'll come back to this here in a second when we talk about scheduling. But you can do stuff inside of there. But more importantly, from an end user standpoint, what's really important is the capability to access that data through web browsers, right? So being able to access information. So I know we're talking about Excel, but someone might say, hey, I need to see this information inside I want to see if this is the data that I need. So they can double click on this through the web interface. They log in with their IBM credentials. They get to this information. They can see this information here. From that standpoint, they can do graphs and charts and subtotals and all that stuff inside of here if they need to do some light work to it. But say they need to get this to Excel to be able to manipulate it even more, or add it to other information. There is some download capability here. So from this interface here, From the view interface, you can download it and say export it to Excel, and then pick your Excel option. If I was at my front screen here, I could just push this little actions button here, and then say download it, display, do all that stuff inside of here. So you can do it there. You can right click on it and do that. You'll save results and download it there as well. So you do have some different options there. But the nice thing here is for users to be able to access that information via the browser very easily, right? And be able to get to it. You can have bookmarks, you can have all that good stuff inside of there. So if it's something that is frequently used, they can, you have the recent option there, but then you have the bookmark option as well. So you can bookmark something, or think of it as a favorite, right? You can favorite something inside of there so they can use it more and more. So you can do things like that from that standpoint. But this is a really big process to be able to do that. So be able to download it through through the web interface down to Excel. Now, there's other ways to be able to do things like that, as well. So say that again, like I was talking about. Say there's reports that I want to automatically generate and push that information out into into the community, right, into the business community. So we do have ways to be able to schedule things. So I can say, hey, I want to email this one, right? I can say, hey, I want to email this. But I want to email this and I wanted to have it go out every single day at a certain time. So you can schedule it using either the IBM Job Scheduler, or if you have our robot schedule product, we have our full robot IBM scheduler as well, with some more functions over the top of what the IBM scheduler does as well. But this would give you that capability to be able to put those jobs into a daily routine, weekly routine, monthly routine, to be able to process that information there. So really nice to be able to do some of that information and be able to, set up some of those different layers of automation capability. So you can sort of take it off of IT's hands or a business user's hands if they're sending out stuff multiple times and stuff. So you do have that capability there to be able to set up. Now, I was talking about other things as well. So we have the capability to build scripts. So scripts are ways to be able to think of a script as like a CL. You can use CL command structures in here, IBM commands. You can use SQL commands inside of here, RSQL BI commands inside of here. So you can do those different things inside of here. But what's nice about a script, so this script here actually has a variable into it, and one of those variables is my email address, right? So you can actually build a script to actually say, hey, go and take this report and then send it to an email address or a group email address or email addresses. Here's the information for it. Here's some text to put into it, so they know what it is, and then send that out. Now you can have it have multiple lines in here, so you could have it do multiple reports. So this could be your month end or weekend kind of process here, or year end kind of stuff. You can have this automatically launch off and process. So you can have scripts do this kind of process in here as well to be able to kick those through. So those are nice as well. And then you can say, hey, I want to schedule, schedule that script as well to be able to do something. So there is ways to be able to, run and automate some of those different processes there, from a script. Or maybe it's, hey, as a user, I want to launch that process off and I want to run a script from the browser. So they can do that there as well to be able to set up some of those automation tasks as well. So a very powerful piece there from the automation. Now, we also have the capability, and this is a big one here, and this is what everybody really likes, is the capability inside of Excel itself to be able to interact with data. So we can actually interact with data and put data into a spreadsheet, from that standpoint. You might want to be able to put, data in here and populate it from DB2 information or from your business data, and then have graphs and charts around it, inside of here, or some kind of calculations inside of here. You can do that. But the nice thing about this, and I'm going to show this here, so I can add another sheet to this, and if I go to my viewpoint tab and I hit my add view button, it's going to ask me to authenticate into the system, right, at that point. So what access do I have to the data? And then it's going to give me a drop-down list of the access levels I have inside of here. So whatever I have access to, it's going to show me from a library list standpoint, and then I can browse that library and then pull that information into the spreadsheet. Now into the spreadsheet, it's really nice because there's some things inside of here that this is going to allow me to do. So I can actually just pull in data. I can pull in other information into here. It could be like a list view or something like that that I want to be able to get to. So here's like a state list. So I might say, hey, I want all these states here to be able to pull data into this form, right, or into this option, right. So I can actually take that information and then populate that into my spreadsheet and then be able to see that information. Now, again, like I was talking about earlier, I might want this to be saved every single day, so I don't have to go through that add view button every time, right? I could save this and it's connected uh, to that view then at that point. When I do reopen it, it's going to ask me to authenticate again at that point, but that's for security purposes, to the data. But then you can refresh it at any point inside of here, and then be able to get that access level there at that point. So very, very powerful piece of the application is to be able to interact with that. Interact with the different views that you might have out there, but do that directly inside of Microsoft Excel. All right. And again, if you have any questions on anything, feel free to enter them in. I am going to take a few questions here in just a second. But yeah, just enter those in. And if we don't get back to all those questions here today, feel free to or we'll get back to you after the webinar as well. Or if not, you can reach out to us in the meantime. All right, I am going to. All right, so just before I go into questions, I just sort of want to talk a little bit about the demo summary, right? So what we just covered. So SQL makes it easy to download those results into Excel, like we're talking about, right? So being able to use the web browser to be able to get to the data, see the data, and then export it out. We can set up automated delivery and data capabilities to Excel, and then we can use the Excel add-ins inside of Microsoft Excel to be able to use those viewpoint plugins to be able to access the data directly through there. So we can get to that information in all those different methods. All right, and I'm going to take a couple questions here. Give me a second here. Let me see what we have. Oh, great question. So the first question here is, does the Excel add-in come with the SQL license, or is it separate? That does come with the SQL license, so you do get that from that standpoint. So you do get that capability. Must be a customer here. Thank you for being a customer of ours. I have Viewpoint installed, but I do not have the Excel add-in. How do I get it? That can be downloaded through our community portal, or you can contact our support team and they can help you as well. There's a little plugin during the install, a little checkbox that gives you the capability to be able to add that if it was not added for you when it was installed. Must I create a script to schedule an Excel file to be emailed? No. If you've seen in the demonstration here, no, there's other ways to be able to do that. So you can actually, it doesn't need to be a script. You can schedule it using the job scheduler, either the IBM iJob scheduler or the robot schedule if you have that as well. So there's a couple different ways to be able to do that. Can I deploy more than one option to the user community to access data? The answer is yes, and that's very common, right? So you're going to have sometimes a mixture of the SQL web interface. You might have a lot of people that are just using the Excel plugins, but that is up to you. And we do help with some of that strategy and conversation around that, what makes sense for for the different business communities to be able to access that information and how they want to access that information. All right. So for time purposes, I'm going to give everybody a few minutes back of their day to sort of stretch their legs and get back to probably to their next meeting after this one or lunch. But there's still a lot of great questions out there, and like I said, we will get back to you with the answers to those questions. In the meantime, if you want to contact us, you sure can. But we will promptly get back to you with those answers. I want to thank everyone for attending today's webinar. I hope that they learned some helpful information about how to start using your IBM data in Microsoft Excel and how SQL can help you on your business intelligence journey inside of your organization. If you have any additional questions, feel free to reach out to our sales team or to me, and we'd be happy to schedule a free consultation or a live one-on-one demonstration to address any of your questions or needs that you might have. You will receive a link to this webinar so that you can share with anyone in your organization who could not attend today's session, or if you would like to rewatch it. Thanks again for attending today's webinar. Hope you found the information useful. Have a great day and enjoy the rest of your week.